Hey, guess what? Last Word Production also sell merch. Jackets, long sleeves, pick whatever you want. Look at the bio, click the link. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time and however you listen to this. Thank you all for tuning in to the show once again here at Last Word Productions. I'm your host, Tavares Wilson, and I always get the last word, as you all may know. And today, I'm going to just discuss some of the big NFL and NBA news that has transpired these past couple of days. And in all honesty, man, there's no news bigger, no news still not bigger than the Deshaun Watson news currently right now. And I just wanted to speak on it a little bit because before we get into that, though, I wanted to speak on some of the aging and retiring players that is in the league now. And officially this morning, Phillip Rivers announced his retirement. It was a couple hours ago, the long-time San Diego Charger quarterback and now the loss at the LA Chargers. He announced his retirement. He spent his last season with the Colts this past season. They were lost in the wild card round to the Pittsburgh. No, I'm sorry, not to the Pittsburgh Steelers, excuse me, to the Buffalo Bills. And, they had a good season. He had a solid year. He wasn't incredible, but he had a good stretch of football the last 5-6 weeks. So it's kind of surprising to see him go because he did throw for 4,000 yards this season, 25 TDs. He did have 11 INTs, so it was a 2-to-1 interception TD to interception ratio, which isn't great, especially not for a seasoned vet. So I just think he knew his time was up. He wanted to leave out on a positive note, I guess. He was in the playoffs once again. He hadn't been there in a very long time. So I can see why he wanted to retire. I think the Colts are going to move on anyway. And to me now, they just have to focus on making a trade for a proven quarterback. Because I think they have a team with the right QB in position. I think they have a team to compete to win it all now. Good running game. Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack was injured for the season. I think they'll let him walk. Naheem Hines is still there. Good versatile receiving back. Also can run between the tackles. So I think those guys can complement each other well for at least the next 4 years if they keep them. And the offensive line, young, healthy. Their left tackle Costanzo did just retire, but they have good depth at the positions on the line. They have good depth at tackle specifically, and also I feel as if their defense. I feel like the defense isn't exactly, full of youth, but it's not old either. A lot of guys are in their primes, and a lot of guys they will be resigning. A lot of people don't think they should resign Anthony Walker. I think they should resign Anthony Walker. He's not the best covering linebacker, but he's not the worst. He's great at filling gaps, playing the run, sideline to sideline type of dude. I think you need that in this NFL. Not every guy is going to be the Devin White or what's another great coverage linebacker? Luke Kuechly was a good coverage linebacker. Bobby Wagner, his prime was one. Patrick Willis. Everyone can't beat these guys in terms of covering at the linebacker position. Everyone can't beat them. Even Shaq Thompson to an extent. But I think they should definitely look in and re-sign Anthony Walker. If they don't re-sign Anthony Walker, I would be shocked, in all honesty. But Phillip Rivers announced his retirement. It's a believed theory and, pretty much almost written in stone. It's just not publicly said yet that Drew Brees is going to retire. So we're seeing these QBs that we've literally watched for almost 2 decades just leave the game. And it is unfortunate. It's sad because, it's hard to not see who you've been watching your entire life play on Sunday. But, that is how time works. It doesn't wait for no man. But I think the Saints and both Saints and Colts will be perfectly fine as long as they find another complimentary quarterback or even another franchise guy, because they have the teams to be built upon and actually continue to grow and get better. In other NFL news, this is one that's surprising to me. The Doug Peterson is likely to plan to take a year off from coaching. I don't see why he's doing that. I mean, maybe it's to collect his thoughts, get his mind, refreshing, just to clear the air for himself personally. And I get that. But I feel as if, man, you're 2 years removed from a Super Bowl. What is it, 2 years now, almost three, whichever the case. You're 2 years removed from Super Bowl. You literally have given the league a new way of playing and introduced a new way of playing with this RPO thing. I mean, he wasn't the first guy to do it, but he did it at a high level and executed it well as the first coach to do it in the NFL. And to me, that shouldn't just be something you sweep under the rug. This guy needs to be coaching somewhere, regardless if he's an HC or offensive coordinator. He needs to be on someone's roster, and the league will be absolutely insane in terms of like these open offensive coordinator positions and these other units that have specific coaches. They will be insane to not have Doug Peterson on the roster the next following coming season. To me, it would just be a catastrophic fail for the league and I'm being quite honest, himself. Because I understand you want time off and I understand you want to get your mind right. That's cool. But you were literally not the problem with the Eagles. The problem with the Eagles has always and forever been ownership and the play of players. Listen, people can feel however they want about Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts, but facts remain facts. Jalen Hurts looked better in the offensive scheme and playing than Carson Wentz did. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. I don't care how much money invested in him. I believe it's $132 million. I don't care what contract he just signed. He was outplayed by a rookie quarterback. That's it. When he got benched, the team looked better. That's it. The offensive line, the same old line that they said was a blocking all season, Jalen Hurts made it work. And it would be different if it was a veteran coming in doing that, because the vet knows more, like the perfect example is the Tua and Fitzpatrick situation. Yeah, some games Fitzpatrick came in and looked better than Tua, but Fitzpatrick is a 14-year vet. There's no coverage and no blitz scheme that you can draw up that he has not already seen at least multiple times in his career. Not one. You can't draw it up. So, of course, he's going to know how to evade pressure better. And, of course, he's going to know how to throw certain routes better and timing because, for one, he's been in the league for over a decade. And two, he's been on the team with these same receivers the past 2 years. Of course, he's going to know their tendencies better. So, but for Jalen Hurts to come in and look better than what Carson Wentz did, a guy who knows this system, a guy who's been in this system, a guy who's been successful in this system, I mean, it's inexcusable. And for the Eagles to even commit to Carson Wentz after what Jalen Hurts did, it's a travesty. If I was Jalen Hurts, I'm demanding a trade. I know I'm a rookie. I know I don't have that much leverage. But listen, it's like what Randy Moss said the other day about the Deshaun Watson situation. This is a new league. There is no more just shut up and play. There is no more take your money and be happy with it. This guy, Jalen Hurts, can be a starter somewhere next season. He doesn't need to be sitting behind Carson Wentz collecting dust and wasting his talent for the next 2 years. It shouldn't happen. And the Eagles are showing how terrible of a franchise they truly are by even putting themselves in this situation. You drafted this guy in the second round, believing that he can become a gadget Taysom Hill type player for you, which he can be. But He became more than that the moment you started him and he looked good playing. That's it. Carson Wentz should not be playing. But I digress. And in more NFL news, Patrick Mahomes is expected to return to practice today, which is very good for the news for the Chiefs. And in all honesty, I expected him to play. I didn't believe he was going to sit out. I don't believe that was even an option for him personally. And is it the smartest thing? No, because he'll be 1 week removed from a concussion. And he didn't look good at all when he got up from the ground. I mean, he was stumbling, about to fall over himself. He looked disoriented. He looked woozy. And it just didn't look good. And if I'm being honest, it won't look good for the league if they let him play a week after suffering such a terrible injury. And I don't know how much of a choice the league will have, because at the end of the day, concussions are hard to call because it's more so on the player than it is something you actually test for and scan for, things like that. This is something he is willing to do. It's unfortunate. These guys are playing for something that they're passionate about, which I get. But your health should always be your number one concern. And to top it all off, I want to get back to the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, I should say. If you haven't been hearing reports, tweets from Adam Schefter have been coming out saying, listen, many people believe around the league, in the locker room, in the Texans front office, believe he's played his last down with the Texans. That's it. He's done. However you want to look at it, he's done. Now, it's just about who can bring him in and offer good compensation. To me, there's only two teams to me that can do that. It's the New York Jets and it's the Miami Dolphins. The Jets and the Dolphins both have draft pick capital. The Jets have five first-round draft picks the next 3 years. The Dolphins have 4 first-round draft picks in the next 3 years. The Dolphins have, just like the Jets, they have top picks they have multiple picks within the first 35 picks, I believe, 36, around there. They both have young quarterbacks who they can ship off and help this franchise take another young guy and build off of. I think Tua Tagovailoa may be more attractive than Sam Darnold, strictly because of the fact that he's still a blank canvas. He can be dyed any color. I think Sam Darnold, there's a report saying that Robert Saleh actually wants to continue with Sam Darnold because if you're being honest, I mean, the dude has talent. I mean, it's not that he's terrible. He had terrible coaching. And you can't recall the last guy who was truly successful under Adam Gase, like truly successful, was Jay Cutler. I want that to sink in for everyone. The last guy that had true success, as in career-type numbers, was Jay Cutler when he was with Chicago. There are multiple guys who have done better once Adam Gase has left. Devontae Parker, a year removed from Adam Gase, he became a 1K yard receiver for the first time in his career. Coincidental? No, and let me tell you why. Robbie Anderson was literally looked at nothing but a speedster and a burner with the Jets. He goes to Carolina and he becomes a 1K yard receiver and one of the best deep threats. And not only a deep threat, but one of the best chain movers in the league. That's still not enough for you? Let me give you another example. Ryan Tannehill, a guy who I was never high on. But I'll be ignorant to ignore the fact that he's looked a million times better in a stable situation. This Adam Gase is the same guy that traded away Jarvis Landry because he wanted his input on providing more route concepts in the play scheme. He wants guys to literally only do what he says, and that is not how it works in the NFL. It's not. It's the biggest reason why Kyle Shanahan hasn't won it all. Even though he's got there, he hasn't won it all. Why? Because he has a specific scheme he wants to run. It works. I'm not saying it's bad. But at the same time, he needs specific guys to listen to him because he's not taking any advice per se. He may listen to you, but is he truly going to consider it? I don't believe so. And the difference between Adam Gase and Kyle Shanahan is this simple fact. Kyle Shanahan has shown he can win with that mentality. He showed he can win with this method. Adam Gase hasn't. He's had one season above 500 as a head coach. And he's been coaching for what? I think 4 years now. And now the Seahawks are talking about bringing him in for an interview for the OC position. Pete Carroll. I don't know if you haven't noticed or seen what's going on with the Jets or what was going on with the Dolphins when he was there. But the guy cannot coach. If Pete Carroll brings in Adam Gase as his OC, it would truly show that Pete Carroll is a horrible coach that was carried by talents, just like Mike McCarthy was. It would truly show Pete Carroll, listen to me when I say this, everyone, is a horrible coach who was carried by talents, exactly like Mike McCarthy in Green Bay. Now that I've said that, if Adam Gase is hired for the Seahawks, that would truly show me that they are literally plotting for Russell Wilson's downfall. I don't know why they're plotting for their own franchise quarterback's downfall, but it will be evident to me at that point. All right, we're going to move on. So I said I'd like to say this. I don't see Deshaun Watson wanting to be in New York because the culture is not what he wants. He doesn't want to go somewhere that has a losing culture and mentality. And the Jets have that right now. I know they just signed probably the best available HC for the HC position, best guy for the position, but how much can he truly change? He's a defensive guy. He will. I will say this: the effort level will be much higher. It will be much higher. I will give them that. He's bringing along Mike LaFleur to be his OC, which I can see because I think in the 49ers offense, I think Sam Darnold could be successful. But at the same time, I think the ownership and GM I think is still bad. I don't think that's changing. I think they've drafted well over the years, but they haven't shown the ability to develop talent. I don't know if Robert Saleh could do that. I mean, I'm not saying he can't, but I'm not saying he can. I don't know if he can. He's a defensive guy. He's not focused on the offensive side of the ball. Mike LaFleur, it could work, but he has to show me it could work. And I don't think Deshaun Watson wants to leave a situation where he knows it's not working for an unknown. Because at the same time, he's like, this franchise is just as bad as my franchise, if not worse. And now on top of that, I'll be going to the division with the young studs, the Buffalo Bills, the up-and-coming Miami Dolphins, and the proven been there, done that Patriots, who have cap space out of this world and will get their quarterback. That's all they need. They never needed playmakers to be a successful franchise. So, with that being said, I can really see these guys. I can really see him declining to go to the Jets. I don't see him wanting to go there. The Dolphins, to me, is the only realistic thing. And I say that because of this. They have the draft compensation. They have the young quarterback that Nick Casario, the new Holly general manager, said he likes. He's high on Tua Tagovailoa. And on top of that, the Dolphins have the cap space to take on his hefty contract. And by the way, I think this is something that a lot of people are not realizing. His next year, he's not warranted this 30, 40 million nearly. He's going to be making only $10.5 million. For Deshaun Watson, that is a bargain kill deal. You cannot beat that at all. So whoever gets him will still be able to add pieces around him the next season. They make those contracts back end heavy, or front heavy the first year, and then light on the back years. Boom, you got pieces. You got pieces around. And to me, that shouldn't be ignored because a lot of people are misinterpreting this situation and saying, well, whoever takes on that contract, oh man, good luck and all this stuff you ain't gonna be able to do. No, that's not true. People have to look at the numbers, actually see that you will be more than able to build around him, give him another receiver if you want, bring in another running back if you want. And not to mention, being the fact that the Dolphins have so much draft capital, they'll still have second-round picks. And we've seen how many playmakers came out the second, third round these days. So it's not a rush to draft a guy top 15 at that skill position. It's not. I'm going to get off into the NBA news. NBA news, as you've seen, if you follow me on Instagram, at Last Word Productions, _Productions on Instagram, excuse me. If you don't, be sure to. But if you haven't seen on my page, Kyrie Irving is making his return after missing his past 7 games. He'll be playing tonight against the Cleveland Cavaliers. So this will be the first time we will see Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving on the court together. Kyrie has spoke. He said he spoke with all his teammates individually. He apologized to them, said that he had a lot of personal things going on, family regards. And, I wish him the best, and I hope all is well. At the end of the day, this is his job. This is his career. He needs to be able to communicate, and he needs to be able to speak. He does that well enough. He's an intelligent man. He should have done that. He didn't. There's no excuses. He didn't. People can have sympathy for him and all that. I understand that. But none of us can not go to our job for 7 days and come back and say, man, we had a lot of personal things going on. No, you're fired. If you would have said that, it would have been different, but you didn't. No, that's it. You're done. Kyrie needs to be better. He has to be more professional. End of the story. Now, I'm not saying that his family issues or his personal regards don't matter, because they do. We're all human. Like I said, I wish the best and I hope all is well. I don't want to say that I don't care, because I genuinely do care. These guys are humans first and then players. We're all people. But you have to be a professional at the end of the day. You have to. Now, with that being said, I want to see how they look together. I do. I don't know if it's going to work. James Harden, the ball-dominant player. Kyrie Irving, the ball-dominant player. And sometimes even KD can be a ball-dominant player. When he gets going, he calls for the ball every possession to get in the post. Every possession, it seems like. So I don't know if it's going to work, man. I mean, I have to see it. They're going to be going up against a Cleveland Cavs team that isn't the most talented. If they can win this game rather convincingly and they look good, they don't even have to win it convincingly, because every game not going to be a blowout. If they could just look good playing together, I'll be perfectly fine. I think they'll be the favorites to win the East now, because I think they're that talented. Are they top heavy? Yes, but Giannis still hasn't taken that next step in his game. He only had one shot attempt that he made within the last 3.5 minutes of the game. This when they played the Nets, and that's just not gonna cut it, man. It's not. I think Chris Middleton, they're having Chris Middleton be the closer, which isn't terrible, but I love Chris Middleton, man. I love his game. I love how the passion he plays with. He's gotten better each and every season, especially these past couple seasons. But man, let's face facts. He's not a closer. He's not a star, and he shouldn't be in that role. I would rather Drew Holiday be my closer than Chris Middleton, if I'm being honest. If I'm the Bucks, I make that transition. If Giannis can't become that, at least we got Drew Holiday. Because at least in big moments, I've seen from Holiday, and I know he's willing and can make and take shots. So I'm betting on that before I bet on Chris Middleton, if I'm being honest with myself. And in other news, NBA news, I want to speak a bit on Ben Simmons and my thoughts on Ben Simmons, because there's a lot of trades conspiracies going on and saying how he hasn't truly improved his game since he's come into the league. He's still the same player. And I want to say this. I think there's some truth to that. I think Ben isn't showing the dedication right now to the game to truly get better. And to me, it's something bigger than dedication, because I'm not saying he doesn't work. He does. I've seen some of his workout videos, his regimens. I see him playing in open gyms. You know, to me, it's just about having the confidence now, man. He does not have the confidence in his shooting stroke to shoot the ball. He doesn't, and he needs to have that. I don't care how much shots you put up in the open gym. It has to translate to the game situation, because at the end of the day, that's what you put up the shots for, to take them in the game. It's not translating right now, man, and it's horrible because he has all the tools, man, to be a great player. I mean, I'm talking about a 6'9", 6'10" guard who can run the floor with ease, defend bigs, defend guards, wing players. And he has a dribble that's good enough for him to create separation on this shot. He just doesn't have it. And it kills me to watch it, because it's like, dude, if you at the very least had a DeMar DeRozan type of jumper, you don't even need to be a Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You don't need to be none of that. If you can be DeMar DeRozan, develop a good to, average to good mid-range shot, if it can at least be in the ballpark of LeBron, DeMar DeRozan, LeBron, Melo, if it could be in that ballpark where you're at the very least willing to take that shot and the other team know you are, that opens your game up that much more. It opens your game up that much more, man. And he's just not doing it. To me, it's unfortunate. He's a very good, talented dude, man. He just needs to put it together and have more confidence in himself. That's all. If he had the confidence, I think he'll be fine. But his confidence level is lacking supremely right now, and to me, it's unfortunate. It's sad, because I think he's a guy who can be a top 10 to 5, 8 player if he had that. Okay, so I'm gonna get off into the fan Q&A. Sorry for that little rant. It's just frustrating when you see talent being wasted sometimes, man. But this first question comes from Freddie Jones. He asks, who do you think going to the Super Bowl? Well, I think the Packers and the Chiefs are going, but I would not be surprised at all, if it was reversed in both ways, if the Bills and the Bucks went. All 4 teams to me can go. All 4 teams are talented enough to go and win. Let me add that in. They're both all 4 can go and win the Super Bowl. I believe all 4 teams are that good. I truly do. But my money's on the Packers and the Chiefs. I like the Packers because I think, simply put, the Saints last week, if Drew Brees would have been at least decent, they win that game. Just like with the Redskins. If the Redskins I think it was the 4th ranked defense. If that defense would have at least showed up a little, they win that game. So the Bucks have been having some favorable matchups. But I think that ends this week. I think they're going to Green Bay. They're going to meet up with Aaron Rodgers again. I know they blew him out the water last time they played, but the Packers remember that game. Jair Alexander is coming. He's one of the best man-to-man coverage corners we have in this league. I think Kevin King is also pretty good. I think he could work on his technique a little bit better. I think he could trust his eyes a bit better. He looks in the backfield too much. But I think he could be very good as well and effective in this game. And I think Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith have to be huge. Absolutely huge. I think they have to be big this game because you get to Brady, man, you can ride on him, you can create consistent pressure. It will be a long day for the Bucks because they want to throw the ball downfield. They want to. You get to Brady consistently with Brady. I mean, not with Brady, but with Zadarius Smith and Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, Rashad Evans. You get to him with these guys consistently. Hey, man. Did I say Rashad Evans? I mean Rashad Gary. I'm sorry. You get to him with these guys consistently, it'll be a long day for the Bucks. This next question comes from Demetric Sims. How do you feel about the James Harden move to the Nets and the trades that the Nets made to acquire him? To me, I feel like they gave up too much because this is something that people aren't realizing. Kyrie, KD, and James Harden all have opportunities to opt out this next coming season if they want to. And that could be extremely detrimental for the Nets because if at the very least, say two of those guys leave, right? They're screwed. No draft capital. You have no young talent anymore. I mean, maybe you could go out and sign a guy. Maybe the guy who does stay can recruit somebody. But other than that, they're screwed. I mean, if Kyrie leave, I think they'll be fine. KD and James Harden stay, I think they'll be perfectly fine. But if James Harden were to leave or Kevin Durant were to leave, oh man, I think that'll be bad. And then imagine if two of them left. Oh no. It could get ugly. It really could. And so I think the Nets trade, I do believe they gave up a bit much. Spencer Dinwiddie will be coming back, but I believe he's a free agent next season, and I don't think he's going to take cheap deals to stay with the Nets. I really don't. And I think that him coming back could be big for them if he were to stay, but I don't think he stays. And they already got rid of LeVert. They got rid of Jared Allen. These was their young pieces. DeAndre Jordan not getting younger. Man, it's not looking too good for the Nets, boy. If they walk, I don't know what the Nets will do. They'll be in the same situation they were when they got KG and Paul Pierce. This next question comes from Vince. Will the Dolphins emerge to the front runners of AFC East next season, or will the Bills stay on top? To me, I believe until further notice, the Bills will be on top. And I say that because of this. The Bills are a team that's built to win it all right now. They're built to win it all right now. They have a good defense. It's not great as it's been in recent memory, but it's good. All right, it's legit. They got an all-pro corner. They got two really good safeties. Got young, good linebackers. Matt Milano, I love Matt Milano. He's not necessarily a spring chicken, but he's still good and young at prime. Tremaine Edmonds, good, young linebacker. And I just feel as if they have a lot to build on in that defense. And on the offensive side, man, Josh Allen's becoming a stud right before our eyes. He went out and got his number one guy, Stephon Diggs, and they got two other really good receivers. I think they're being underestimated because of Stephon Diggs. But Cole Beasley and John Brown are legit, man. Cole Beasley may be the best slot receiver in the game right now. And John Brown may be the best number 2 receiver option in the game right now, behind, of course, guys like Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown. But I think could be a legitimate argument. And excuse me one second, you all. Let me get my dog together. Okay, you all, I'm back. I'm sorry for the interruption and the delay. But let's finish these questions. This next question comes from Clark Wayne. Will Deshaun Watson sit out the next season if he doesn't get traded? Now, this is a good question because, for one, I think this is a true possibility. I think Deshaun Watson will sit out this next upcoming season if he's not traded. I know a lot of people. I've heard. I forgot who. Bucky Brooks. There we go. I heard him on one of these shows. I believe it was with the two Emmanuel Achow. It was with him and his co-host. He basically was saying that he wouldn't have a choice but to play. No, that's not true at all. I don't know if these guys haven't been alive or been viewing what's been going on these past couple seasons, but there's been guys who have been not only healthy scratches, but guys who have literally faked injuries per se to get out of situations. Have we not seen what Jalen Ramsey just did with the Jaguars not too long ago? He, out of nowhere, just started suffering back spasms and twisted ankle here and there when he wanted to leave. Come on now. Same thing with Earl Thomas when he wanted out of the Seahawks. Despite the fact that he did eventually truly get hurt, he didn't play for a while because he wanted his money. Same thing with Ramsey. He wanted out of the Jags. So what he did, okay, since you don't want to trade me and I get fined if I don't play, okay, I'm hurt. Who are you to tell me I'm not hurt? I messed up my thumb the other day, practicing catching or throwing the ball. The ball hit my hand the wrong way. Oh, I twisted an ankle while working on my drop back. So stuff like that, and not to mention, if he wanted to go the Le'Veon Bell route, he can, because he has the compensation already. He's already made over $30 million by being in the league by this point. He is willing and can miss out on what? I think it'll be $2 million, $3 million. He's willing to miss out on that. And he's showing he is, because he's not even returning the team's calls. People have to realize that this dude is done. His teammates are backing him. Former players of the organization is backing him. And I cannot stress this enough. I said this last week. The moment Andre Johnson came out and said something and spoke on it, you knew the situation was terrible. You knew it could be fixed. You knew it. You knew that it just had to be rebooted. So yes, I think Deshaun Watson will sit out if he can't be traded. And I just think it's a matter of time at this point, because if I'm the Texans, man, you just try to get whatever you can for him. His no trade clause will make it a little bit more difficult because he would have to approve to go somewhere. But you got to take what you can take. This next question comes from Gino Peterson. Who legacy needs this Super Bowl more, Brady or Rodgers? Well, I'm going to say Rodgers because a lot of people already believe Brady's the undisputed GOAT. They don't believe anyone else has an argument. I truly don't believe he's the GOAT. But in terms of my personal opinion, I think it would be Brady because it was shown that he could win it all and get there without Bill Belichick. And despite the struggles they had throughout the season, it didn't matter. He was great enough to fix them when it mattered most. So to me, it would be Brady. Clark Wayne also has another question. How does the Bucs fare at Lambeau in January? I think the Bucs fare well. I know that it's going to be cold. I know that they're going to be going from a sunny state, sunny city to Green Bay, Wisconsin. But this is a team that's built with veterans. They done played in all weather situations. They'll be fine. This next question comes from Mason Moon. How does Green Bay prepare for this game after losing 38-10 to this team early in the year? Well, they prepare for it by sticking to what they do best. Trusting in Aaron Rodgers, running the ball effectively when given the opportunities, it's going to be hard against this team because they are the number one rushing defense. I believe they're the number. Yeah, they are the number one rushing defense. So Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams are going to be utilized more as receiving threats, which is still going to be difficult for them because they have two really, really good coverage linebackers in Levante David and Devin White. Both guys can run sideline to sideline. These dudes are legit. So it's going to be a lot of dose of Aaron Rodgers in 17, man. And Devontae Adams is going to have another huge day for them to be successful. And I think with Lazard back, I think he will be a good complement to Devontae Adams. I still think they should have went out and got a true number 2 because I'm not fully sold on Lazard as being my second best receiver on my team. I could see a complimentary guy who could come in and have a good day some days, but second best, I'm not sold on that. The next question comes from Daniel Yorkson. Is there a chance that the Knicks make the playoffs? Right now, the Knicks have the number 1 defense in the league. I believe they're the league's best in terms of points given up, opponents' percentage, field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. But I just don't think they have enough talent to make the playoffs. They outside of R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, they have no other legitimate scorers. And that's not saying much, man. When your best 2 scorers are R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, that's a problem. I'm not saying these guys aren't good because I've always been high on Julius Randle since he was coming out of college. You know, I thought he was legit when he was with the Lakers, just didn't get an opportunity. I like R.J. Barrett. I don't think he is. I don't think he's a number 1 scoring option on any stretch of the imagination, but I think he's a good compliment. If they would have had let's say they would have had a dominant wing, like I don't know, it doesn't even have to be a guy like LeBron or KD or Giannis. If they would have had a guy like Paul George, or if they would have had a guy like, it was another pretty good all-star. If they would have had a guy like Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, you know, if they would have had one of these type of guys, I would have been able to make a case for them because that way they would have had a legit scorer. You know, Jaylen Brown is still working into his own, but if he was given the green lights, I think his game would just skyrocket. I really think it would. If they had a guy like those guys to go along with Barrett and Randle, I think I can make a legitimate case for them being a threat to make the playoffs. But because they don't have that true number 1 scorer who I believe is a consistent threat, I don't think they made the playoffs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for the fan Q&A. That'll be it for the show. Thank you all again for tuning in to the show. Be sure to like, subscribe to the channel at Last Word Productions on YouTube. And be sure to follow me on Instagram at lastword_productions. And be sure to like the Facebook page. If you want to see more of me and my content, that is also at Last Word Productions. Thank you all for tuning in once again. And I'll see y'all in the next one.